You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Cyclone Veronica continues to barrel towards the western coast of Australia. It's a Category 4 on the Australian scale, a Category 2 on the Saffir Simpson scale with winds of around 105 miles per hour. That's 170 kilometers per hour. A pressure around 957 millibars. A cyclone warning is in effect from Wallal Downs in the east to Mardi in the west. That includes Dampier, Karratha and Port Hedland. A cyclone watch is in effect for Nullagine, and actually the warning has been extended further inland to include Marble Bar in the last few minutes. My name is Nathan Foy, and this is the latest on Veronica and of course the other systems as well. We will be keeping our eyes on, and we are keeping our eyes on, both Trevor and also Cyclone Joaninha. Joining me is Isaac on screen share. Good evening.
Hello from Texas.
We're also joined by Ryan in this hour. Ryan, hello.
Hello.
And fingers crossed, we might just have David back. Oh, what ones are trying? Never mind, we don't have David back just yet. Trevor is on the right-hand side there. You're looking at the Gulf of Carpentaria. And Isaac and Ryan, any observations you'd like to bring up on that one?
Well, I don't really know.
Looks like
much of a difference.
Trevor's getting pretty close to landfall.
It is indeed.
I have to say
Landfall
that.
expected by lunchtime.
Oh. So that's only a few hours away, I think, right?
Yeah, not long at all. And it looks that
Oh.
way too. I mean, the way it's moving there. I mean, to be honest, the outer eye wall is just about to reach the coast, Isaac.
Yeah, that's I was noting last update there, and it looks like the outer eye wall might be just barely touching shore now. Looks like on the last frame there. I don't know if it's lagging out on my end or whatever, but on the last frame we see it kind of barely touch the coastline there before.
No, we're seeing it. We're seeing it. All right. Does this mean it's moving more quickly though?
Here's Veronica over using the composite weather radars here. Those little specks you see in the middle of the eye are the clouds trying to be sorted out by the storm itself, but it's been kind of failing for the past few hours here. As it starts to slowly make its way towards landfall. It's also expected to kind of either stall. I haven't checked too much on it, but last I checked, it's expected to either stall or kind of meander around here over the next couple of days and likely cause lots of flash flooding around the central region. I don't know the exact totals, but I know flash flooding is likely expected.
Well, I think it's the small green print there is how much rainfall has been in those areas since 9 a.m. yesterday in millimeters.
So about 14 millimeters over in Dampier.
Dampier, yes.
Dampier, oh. And 2 millimeters in Port Hedland, by the looks of it.
Which isn't much. I mean, it was 1 an hour ago, so it's only not gone up very much at all.
And here's a rapid scan of the cyclone here. You can see it's been trying to clear out that eye, but it's failed pretty much. You can see in the last frame, it's really tried to clear out that eye. Whether it'll do it or not, we'll just wait and see on it. Let's go to Trevor here. Here's Trevor.
Yeah.
Slowly making its landfall here.
Yeah, wow. What's going on with that?
And I'm noticing looks to be disorganizing now as it gets closer to land here in the latest frames here. Sorry if it's lagging on your screen because I forgot to slow down the animation speed, but surely doing something there. Let's go back to radar of Trevor. As you can see here, starting to make the outer isle certainly seems to be a land probably right now. Center Island looks like they might get brushed with the outer eyewall here, I want to say, especially eastern part of the island here. And then you can see the inner eyewall still over the sea here currently.
Ryan, any thoughts that you'd like to bring to the table?
Not really.
Oh. Why did you turn up then?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
For a response.
we'll keep watching those.
Yeah.
That's mainly what we do. If you've got any comments or questions that our team might be able to answer for you during this hour, please send us a message on the YouTube chat. Type in Force 13 all in text. It will light up big and bright for us, and we'll be able to see to some of those questions. We did have a rather unrelated question. Do you like making cyclone season animations? I'm not sure that's really relevant to our coverage. I mean, it's pretty tedious in all honesty. That's why not many people have done them already. What else do we have here? And
Someone was asking
Mauritius and Rodrigues might potentially go into Cyclone Warning Class 1 tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if Rodrigues did. It would surprise me if Mauritius got any cyclone warnings. It's going to miss. But it could deliver modest amounts of rainfall there. Isaac?
Someone was wondering if Veronica was going to an eyewall placement cycle. That is a good question. I will get back to you. Unless Nathan has an answer right now, I'll get back to you shortly once I look at it really quick here.
Hard to tell on radar. It's still near the edge of the coverage.
Oh, and let me go back to the beer meteorology here.
I mean, it doesn't look like one really, does it? Which would be a bit of a surprise because it looks not so great on the satellite imagery, but then it can have that look. A storm can look terrible on infrared. You know, things like Matthew, Isaac, looked pretty good on radar.
It really did.
When it was passing Florida, and looked terrible on the satellite.
Of course, that's why you must rely on other sources and not just one here. Looking at microwave, I'm afraid the microwave pass failed, but looking at the most recent one, there might be a slight rumbling of maybe a possible eyewall placement cycle, but it's hard to say because it did the pass right on the edge of the eyewall here, so it's hard to say, but there might be a possible one.
Inconclusive evidence then.
Yeah, of course I have to be on the edge of the coverage, but oh well.
Yep, and a reminder of the warnings that are in effect for Trevor right now. They haven't changed, I don't think. The warnings extend from Alyangula to Burketown, including Mornington Island, Wollongorang, I think it is, Robinson River, Borroloola, Port MacArthur, Port Roper, and Numbulwar. Inland, it also affects Creswell Downs and Brunette Downs. Tennant Creek lies just on the edge of the warning zone. It isn't in the warning zone, but severe weather is possible there. as we continue to look at that radar imagery. If you've just joined us, the news out of Mozambique, Cyclone Idai, responsible now for 638 fatalities and over 2,000 injuries, mainly in Mozambique and Zimbabwe, also affecting Malawi. The coastline of Mozambique has changed in the last few days, at least temporarily, as a result of the cyclone.
Yeah, I mean, what I've been seeing out of Mozambique is pretty dramatic. I mean, you don't get to see stuff like that very often.
Indeed. Alright, we're just waiting to see something else here. Alright, let's do another roundup then. Let's start from the beginning here. Where are we? Losing track of things. Here is the latest imagery of Cyclone Trevor. As you can see, first visible images appearing. It's about to make landfall. It's really been steaming pretty quickly in those latest frames. It could be moving over land in an hour. This is a 7-hour loop. And the way it's been going in that time, yeah, that could make landfall in about an hour's time. Maybe 2. Very soon indeed. It's moving pretty quickly. So that's the last act of Trevor, most likely. Here's Veronica. Latest frames. Eye expanding, it would appear. Would you agree with that, Isaac?
We look again. Yeah, it appears that it might be trying to expand here, so...
It's not going to try and make a break for annular status, is it? Oh, good lord.
I mean, it looks horrible right now, so
looks
I don't...
horrible.
I just... Yeah,
really
so
looks
I don't know about that.
It's going to deliver a lot of rain, though, and that could be the big threat from this. 500 millimeters, possibly. 490 expected at Port Hedland.
Wow.
Nearly 20 inches of rain. 96W looks like trash. Savannah, likewise. And this here is the latest image of Cyclone Joaninha. Now, guys, looking at this imagery, massive blow up in convection in the center of the storm. Is it rapid intensification, or is it just one of those outbursts from a storm that is battling wind shear?
Well, I can't tell by just looking at one infrared image, but
yeah,
if that center
that's
is
pretty hard.
If that center is in the middle of that convection and could be trying to go into rapid intensification, but without a loop, I can't really tell.
Well, all the other images look
paying
the
attention.
same, so...
I haven't been paying attention much to it, so I don't. In fact, actually, let me go to.
Alright, I'll let you get onto that one whilst we look at some more images.
Yeah.
This was the Mateo France track for that cyclone. You know, we know never to look at the very centre of the track, but the centre of the track is taking it directly over Rodrigues. That could happen, but it could just very easily go anywhere within that cone.
Yeah.
Again, you know, we were talking about Mauritius being a bit of a needle in a haystack when it comes to cyclones making landfall there. Rodrigues is even tinier.
And they've already been directly affected by a cyclone earlier this season.
Yes.
Which
we also covered
again
extensively. Here again is that Bureau of Meteorology track map for Trevor. They expect landfall to occur at about 11 a.m. The time there, I think, is about 8 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, in Eastern Australia.
Oh. Well, they're at plus 9.5, so...
Are they?
Yeah, Central Australia, like the Northern Territory is plus 9.5.
Alright. It's too late for me to be able to work that one out. But I'm not too far away with that time zone.
Yeah,
but there we are.
Yeah, it's probably like, I think it's like 8 a.m. there.
I think it's
think
quite
you're
clear that the
about
storm's
right.
going to make
Yeah.
landfall earlier than 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's looking pretty close.
Unless it decides it wants to stall at the last minute again. Alright, this is Veronica.
Oh, yeah.
Landfall expected early hours of the morning, or possibly later hours of the morning, actually. Tomorrow, Sunday. It's moved south overnight, slowly. And when you look at that imagery, perhaps a little bit of acceleration before striking the Pilbara coast. Port Hedland there, possibly in the crosshairs for really destructive winds. But there is a lot of uncertainty in this track. The models do disagree a little bit. It could track further west, so Karatha could even be in the crosshairs by the time it gets there. Again, these were some earlier model runs. I think more people will be interested in Veronica, and look how much of a mess it is. Models going all over the place there. And this is for Joaninha. Southwest at first, then southeast. Threat to Mauritius is minimal, but there are some outliers there that could go on to affect one or both of the Masserine Islands. The main Masserine Islands. And just in case you were wondering, that South Atlantic storm possibility is still there. And that is likely to emerge off the coast of Brazil tomorrow, and then we'll really know whether it means business or not. David, do we have you? It's about the 10th time I've asked so far.
He was in the chat earlier.
I don't know.
I don't understand. On my screen share, I'm looking at.
Yeah, let's get onto
Trevor
that
here.
screen share. First of all, I'd like to thank Nelson very much for helping to support the project. Hi, David.
Just here for a few minutes. Biometeorology has updated Northern Territory Office the forecast for Trevor. Their next update's going to be about 11:30 my time. I was hoping they might have put out an update in about 10 minutes, where it looks like it's going to be their forecast track. Nathan, they've updated 18 minutes ago my time, and not much has changed.
No.
Intensity 4, sustained winds in the centre of 175 kilometres per hour, with wind gusts to 250 kilometres an hour, located within 9 kilometres of 15.7 degrees south, 137.
And that's Veronica.
Trevor.
Oh, that's Trevor.
Yeah, sorry, mate. They updated 18 minutes ago. And the forecast tracks in about half an hour, about 10 minutes from now.
Right. Yep.
And they have it tracking west-southwest at 19 kilometres an hour, and they have it around 190 kilometres northwest of Mornington Island, and 155 kilometres east-northeast of Burralula. And it's a Category 3 on the Saffir Simpson hurricane
Did
scale.
you just say Saffron Simpson?
Well, Saffir Simpson. I know I have.
Oh, David.
Yes, I know. What are we going to do with you?
Nothing.
Anyway, the destructive core, Nathan, the destructive
going.
core is expected to cross the Northern Territory coast this morning before moving inland into the Barkly district during today and tonight. And the cyclone should weaken below cyclone strength by a Sunday afternoon.
That sounds about right.
And the International Space Station?
Yes, I am monitoring it. They are about to
Yes.
arrive near the storm. A few
And
minutes.
Yep, and for our viewers, so we are live streaming via the Facebook page. And apology if there was a little bit transmission from the astronauts up there in the ISS, but the streaming is good. And I'm just waiting for the forecast track to be updated. And Nathan, I've posted the rainfall latest from the BOA.
Can you tell us what they're saying?
Well, I'm looking, as you said, up to 200 millimeters, but
Yep.
the anywhere up to 400 millimeters and 400 millimeters plus for Veronica at Port Hedland. That's
Yes.
across the next 8 days.
We're expecting possibly 500 millimeters of Port Hedland.
And the Bureau is saying 200 millimeters per day for the next few days here in Queensland.
Wow.
Going to back to infrared here. I was gonna note Trevor in the latest streams looks like it's trying to ramp back up a tad bit here. Actually, I'll go ahead and stop it at the last frame so it doesn't lag out on my computer here. Just go ahead and do that.
Oh, I don't know.
It's trying to do
but
something
the
here.
amount of deep convection is much lower now.
We go back a little bit compared to earlier, how it looked when it looked like still a mess.
It had more deep convection though than it does now.
But it almost looks like it has two eyes there. But I digress.
Probably
the
does.
actual eyes are right here. Well,
it is a
technically it does because it has concentric eye walls, but not side by side eye walls. But certainly getting even closer towards the coast here. Like I said, thankfully there's pretty much this area is relatively rural. Only really populated areas are farther inland, and the only one that's really kind of, I guess, indirectly in the path of it would be Center Island, and looks like it's going to get brushed by the outer eye wall here. And actually, looking at the latest frames, it looks like it's going on like a south. Looks like it's going southwest here. So actually, they might get scraped by the inner eye wall here. Look, by the looks of it, possibly. If it keeps going the way I think it might be going. So that's certainly interesting there.
The International Space Station. This is live, just about to enter the daylight area. This may capture Cyclone Veronica in just a few minutes. We'll keep you up to date with that. As soon as there's something interesting to see, we'll cross back to that. For now, it's the radar imagery that Isaac is still showing us. And little bits of rain over Western Australia at the minute. Doesn't look like anything big has arrived just yet, but it's about to. For some areas there. Some of the yellows about to reach the coastline. Port Hedland probably won't get a lot initially, looking at it. It could be places like Karratha that gets it first.
Indeed, and here I want to look quickly at what's the name of this one? The new one? What's the name of the new stuff?
Joaninha.
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 Looking at the loop of Joaninha. Like I said, like you said, Nathan, like you see in the last two frames there, the burst of convection there. The center appears to be roughly roughly around this general region, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like. So if that convection wraps around under that center, I would say it could easily probably rapidly intensify. Models have been forecasting it to intensify. So I would say it's quite possible for it to go into rapid intensification over the next few days here. Go by Trevor here, update it, see if it's got a new frame. Have we got a new frame? Nope, it's an old frame. Nope, no new frames as of yet. Veronica, you can see here, existing pretty much.
Existing.
I mean, that's
That's one
pretty
way
much
to
what it's
say it.
doing. Just it's existing. Going back to Trevor here, one could easily see the concentric eye walls here. You can see the outer eye wall, you can see the inner eye wall. You can see some rain bands that are hitting where the radar is located. I can't for the life of me pronounce where the radar is located, so I'm not even going to try, but it's hitting this
Yeah.
island. The heavy rain bands are hitting this
Mornington
island.
Island.
Moynton Island. No, I'm talking about this like G-named city, but I'll just call it Moynton Island. Definitely the stronger outer bands currently affected Moynton Island, and over here, Central Island looks to be going to get into the outer eye wall and possibly maybe breast the inner eye wall if it keeps moving on its southwesterly course here. You can see Veronica here, eye wall here, and you can see the little kind of little bits of light blue there. Is those clouds just rotating around the center here as we go back to the rapid scan here. You can quite easily see the little pieces of cloud that are still kind of rotating in there. Not quite has cleared out its eye just yet. We update it now. See what got any new frames we probably have. See it starts clearing out there.
All right.
Yeah, it's still trying to clear out.
Daylight over the ISS. I'm not sure what we're looking at, so I'm showing it in case I may be inadvertently getting some part of the storm. I don't even know if the storm itself is in daylight. It might be behind that dark cloak. We're just entering the daylight side of the Earth, and I'm not sure what we're looking at the minute. But I think Veronica might still be in darkness, actually, behind that. David, can you confirm?
Light.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the cameras, and it would be 6:30 over there in Perth.
So it probably is daylight then. Actually, I think the storm, yes, is on the far right hand side of the image. We're going to just mess about with this image a bit, and hopefully we'll be able to catch the edge of it.
Oh yeah, on the satellite, it's definitely on at sunrise pretty much right now, currently, by the looks of it. So we might possibly get a glimpse or a glimpse of some sort of
The
Veronica
storm
here on the
is
National
just
Space Station.
on the left hand side there. The right hand side, I'm sorry. On the very edge,
Yeah,
it's
look at
difficult to
this
see.
Nathan.
Oh yeah.
Quite clear to see the outer bands there of it as well too.
I'm not sure where exactly this is right now, but the storm is on the right hand side of the image behind the satellite.
The International Space Station is just near Adelaide, South Australia. So we're looking at the back
Yes.
cameras. So it would be on the right hand side, but unfortunately, it's just a little bit too.
Bit too far over, that's a shame.
Yeah. But I'll
There's
keep an
next
eye
one.
on it this afternoon.
I don't know if it's a stable connection. At least it's connection to we go in and out. Yeah.
Let's go back to this imagery showing the latest Bureau of Meteorology track for first Trevor you saw briefly, and now Veronica. And that's something that we're continuing to be vigilant over right now. I think we're going to finish at the end of this hour because I think we've discussed everything for now, and I think the situation isn't particularly urgent to stay on the air. We'll probably do more regular updates throughout the day, Australian time, and in the morning for Mauritius as well. There's a lot to cover in this time. So in this last 30 minutes here, send in anything you want, and we'll get to your questions and hopefully good answers. Back to the imagery though with Isaac.
Hello?
And some of the yellows moving inland now.
Are you able to hear me?
Sorry?
Hello?
Yes.
Alright, because the connection, I don't know if it's just me, but everybody's connection on my end is getting really robotic. I was looking at stream and it was looking like that as well, I'm afraid. Hopefully it gets fixed, but looking at the radar here, still easily see the concentric eyeballs of Trevor here.
Yep. Do you think that will hold up until landfall, which must only be about an hour away now?
I don't necessarily know, to be honest here.
Why are you searching for Cyclone Katarina?
I know, I was trying to make the page go down and I decided to search for Katarina for some reason. I don't know why. But I was searching for that earlier. Slowing the radar down here. I think that's a little bit too slow, actually. Maybe make it go faster. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, the concentric eyeball there. It might be just radar interference, but it seems to be starting to go away here in the later frame. See later, it's really only on the western side there, that inner eye wall. So it could easily be dissipating.
It's been like that for a while, though.
Well, if you look in the early frames, it's really pronounced, and then in the later frames there, it starts really withering away. But like I said, it could be just the radar. It might be just getting out of the range of the radar, or it could be legitimately just going away now in the later frames. There's Veronica there on the left. You see there with the Bureau of Meteorology.
Yep.
Radar.
Alright then, I think now is a good time to take a look at some model runs, and I'm going to go to the model station and get some models. Alright, well, we have this. Does this work? Nope, we'll try this one. Alright, well, you can quite clearly see both Veronica and Trevor. And where are we in this run? We are here. Nope, this can't be up to date. This is yesterday's. We'll go to today's. That might be a good idea. Alright, so they're initializing at this point here. Interesting to note that they're initializing with Trevor at 935 millibars and Veronica at 942. Not so sure about that. So, there they go, making landfall. GFS still wants rapid intensification from Veronica, which I think is quite fascinating. GFS wants rapid intensification. I don't see it. Trevor moves inland. Veronica stalls along the coast for a while and then hugs the west coast and then continues off and dies. Trevor still survives and then does die over Queensland. Never makes it to Brisbane in the end, David, according to the GFS. And in the long range, nothing else. It only goes up to 198 hours so far, but I think that's enough, to be honest. Let's not get tempted into looking at a long range model run. To the Indian Ocean as a whole, this is what we're looking at. You can see Cyclone Joaninha on the left hand side, becoming a significant storm, possibly the 6th Category 4 of the year in the basin, at least. I can't remember how many there's been now. There's been a lot. And then sweeping down towards the south. Nothing else on the board for the next few weeks, possibly. It's looking pretty quiet after these storms, I must say. And finally, probably the most interesting one to show you tonight, and this morning, wherever you are. South America. Who thought we'd be saying that? Watch the coast of Brazil here, just as we get into Saturday. This is Saturday morning, along the coast, round about here. A new low pressure system emerges, and by Monday morning becomes a potential tropical cyclone, peaking with a pressure, according to the GFS, of 1001. The ECMWF also have the system. Becomes possibly notable by Saturday, definitely by Sunday. Peaks at 1005 millibars. CMC, just for the fun of it, because it is a just for fun model after all, 999, and then right off towards the southeast. The NavGem, 998 according to the NavGem model, and then moving off towards the southeast. Does the icon cover this area? Yes. Very weak, but it actually takes the storm into land. That's the only model that actually takes the storm into a landfall. And I think that's all of them that cover this region. So still very interesting to see what's on offer for the South Atlantic over this weekend into early next week. But with everything else, we pretty much know what's going to happen, more or less. And let's go back to the imagery with Isaac.
Hello. Alright, here's Trevor on the left here, and there's Veronica. I almost forgot the name of it. Veronica on the right there. Rapid scan of Veronica. This is every 10-minute imagery of Trevor here, because it's not under the rapid scan right now currently. Trevor, obviously you can see turning there, and then we go over towards radar here for Trevor. Looking at the later frames, looks like that concentric eye wall might be starting to go away, and you have that outer eye wall still going there, and it looks like Center Island might be starting to get the outer eye wall, the very outer eye wall on the eastern side of the island. So for the most part, hopefully it looks to be weakening here. Veronica, let's take a look at the Veronica while we're here. Veronica radar from the Bureau of Meteorology. You still see that clearly defined eye on radar and on satellite here as it tries to clear its eye. Then in later frames will be said whether or not it'll actually clear out that eye or fail and try again. Microwave did show some slight rumblings of possibly an eyewall placement cyclone making. Wouldn't surprise me if there was. So that's really all I have to say at this point, Nathan.
Yeah, some questions coming in here. We haven't had a South Atlantic tropical cyclone since December 2017, right?
Yeah, that was the last one. That was a subtropical one.
The last,
I think the last
tropical one was in the last tropical one was what was it called? Anita. It was called Anita.
No, I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was like in 2011 or 2010.
Yeah, I think it was like 2010, 2011, but I think it was called Anita. And before that, it was Katerina, and then the Angola cyclone of 1991. Yeah.
We had another question. Have two storms happened like this before? I assume they mean, two storms hitting Australia at the same time. Well, we don't have to go that far back to remember a year that had this, 2015, which had Lam and Marcia at the same time making landfall. Also in March, that was the earlier part of March, I think it was now. That was 4 years ago. It was the first event that we actually did a live stream on here at Force 13. So
I thought Lam and Marcia were like February, like mid to late February. I know
I'm not sure.
Nathan and Olwen were in March, I think.
I'm pretty sure it was early March.
Okay.
Just before Cyclone Pam.
Marcia was in later February.
Was it?
Like in 19th of February, I believe, is when it made landfall.
All right. We also have 2 tornado warnings in effect in Texas right now.
Want me to go read them off really quick?
Well, they're just affecting some areas there in the northern part of Texas. a significant cell moving through to the northwest of Amarillo. I think we'll leave it at that. The US team will pick up anything that happens there, I think. Hopefully. But there we are. We're looking at the two cyclones right now. Trevor, which is due to make landfall pretty soon. The Bureau of Meteorology expect maybe 11 o'clock local time. We think it could be much sooner than that, in the next hour or two. And Cyclone Veronica will take a bit longer to get there. To reach the coast of Western Australia, it will probably make landfall in about 24 hours or a bit less than that.
Let's see, while we're here, I'm going to put up the Bureau of Meteorology just so we can look at the checks here. You can see Category 4 severe cyclone Veronica on Australian scale, and also Category 4 Trevor. Let's go to Trevor first, since it's the most recent to make landfall. Well, it's going to make landfall the first here.
Be the first one.
Say. Yeah. You can see Category 4 currently on Australian scale. Forecast to make a landfall is a Category 4 on Australian scale at around 10 a.m. On the 23rd Australian time. And go over and weaken and possibly meander around in southern Australia, and likely weaken and die off hopefully there. Veronica, to go back to Veronica here, just so we can see what it looks like again. Veronica looks like it's expected to make maybe a Category 3 or 4 landfall on the Australian scale, just west of Port Hedland by the looks of it, on March 24th here. And it's expected to kind of meander around or maybe possibly stall in this general region, and then looks like move on west and hopefully out of the area quickly.
Alright, here's the latest image of Cyclone Veronica. It's continuing to move towards a generally south direction. The eye's clearing out a bit, but there's not really an eye wall for it. Signs of strengthening though, Isaac, maybe?
I'm going to look at it again. I don't know. I'm going to say it's maybe trying to maintain
only a little bit.
Here.
Only a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, could get back to Category 3 on the Saffir Simpson scale, is my point. And that could make quite a big difference from Category 2 to Category 3 if it makes landfall near, hopefully not, near one of these towns. I mean, with an eye, quite a big eye that's starting to appear now, it's sort of looking as though it's either going to be Port Hedland or Carratha that gets some pretty miserable conditions from this storm.
I'm just looking at a microwave pass from actually about an hour ago. It does show one eye wall by the looks of it. There might be a tad, might be an eye wall, but for the most part, one eye wall around the system currently. So if it did go under an eye wall, if it was placement cycle, it's likely completing it now currently. So just something of note there.
Have you got that imagery?
I can pull it up on my laptop really quick here.
If it's worth it.
Yeah, it passed over the entire CDO, which is good.
All right, yeah, let's
for
see
once. Just bear with me a moment here while my older computer loads.
We're just looking at this imagery again.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat has any comments or questions or concerns, we'll be here, I think, till the end of the hour, right, Nathan?
Yeah, another 15 minutes here.
Yeah, so if you have any questions or want to ask any questions, ask them while we're still live and able to communicate with you over the stream.
And if you get here late and watching on repeat or anything like that, you can, of course, send your messages to us on social media, Force13 on Facebook and Twitter. We'll get back to your messages. I know there's one waiting for me already, which I'll get back to pretty soon, but I can tell you on the air for free. Well, I can even send you the message for free too, but at least no expense of time. That the Cyclone Joaninha will not strike Mauritius, although it could deliver some modest amounts of rainfall.
And here's the microwave,
The
image that I was
microwave
talking
image.
about here. hmm
I mean, it tells us pretty much what we've seen on the infrared. It's a spiral. It's not a central, we would talk about the donut-shaped eye walls. It's not that at all. It's a spiral that we're looking at here, and a system that's going to seemingly forever going to struggle to get itself together and won't strengthen that much unless it can close off that eye wall.
Exactly. If it can't, it's going to have a rough ride over the next few hours here. Hopefully it'll weaken. So that'll be great news. I'm going to go look at Trevor while I'm here as well and see if we got a good microwave pass or just like a side swipe of it. While that's loading, I'm going to go back to rapid scan of Veronica here. You can quite easily tell. Looks to be trying to clear out that eye. Whether it fully clears out that eye or not, we'll see here. We update it here. Wait, later frames. Yeah, it does appear to be trying to clear that eye, but not quite exactly here.
Well, it's getting there. It's halfway through now.
Yeah, the only really the southern part I would say is kind of cloudy here. I've yet to see visible, so I don't know what that looks like at this point. And yes, finally they got a good pass of Trevor here from about 2 hours ago, which is still quite recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see there.
That's interesting.
The C safe there, the cookie safe. You can see, I'm guessing this is part of the concentric eye wall that was in there for the longest time.
That red area is like a hand.
Yeah. It's...
I'm
an
sorry, I
oddity,
just had to make that observation.
It's certainly an oddity, I can tell you that.
Anyway.
But yeah, here's Trevor here.
It's like when you get two fingers in a sort of...
Oh, well, I don't know what it
gone.
did there. Oh, okay. I guess Trevor just wants to say goodbye.
Yeah, well, how long do you think it is now till landfall? Let's see if we can get a distance estimate here.
Go back to right there, radar.
Right, we're looking at Trevor now. These are both Trevor, aren't they? And I'm just trying to get the imagery here on my machine as well to try and get your latest distance estimate. Earlier it was 33 miles. And in a minute I'll be able to tell you what it is now. But I can't tell you yet because it hasn't loaded. So we'll leave you with this imagery here.
There you go. There's Veronica. Trevor on the right, Veronica on the left. See what this is. The track there.
I'm just laughing at some of the messages our team member Nelson is putting into the chat there. Well done. We're here for just another 10 minutes or so before we finish up. We will of course have regular updates on the Force 13 channel. If you've never come across us before, just search Force 13 on YouTube and subscribe. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter, all in text, Force 13. You can of course join our Discord server as well. The link is at the bottom of the description if you're watching us live, and we're happy to have you if you do decide to join us. It's the best way to get involved in our project, and I think Ryan did that.
Yeah.
Just an example, Ryan did do that as well. Latest imagery.
I did what?
You joined the project through Discord, didn't you? Our chat room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a great way to get involved.
Okay.
It's a great way to start.
All right.
20 miles is now the difference from the centre of Trevor to the Gulf of Carpentaria coast. So that's 10 miles in, 13 miles in an hour, isn't it? When did we last do our check?
I don't know.
Okay, let me see what it was the previous hour here. So it's moving at about 13 miles an hour, and it's moving southwest. So I would say landfall here, Isaac, considering I'm looking at 30-minute-old imagery, maybe an hour's time.
And we're 10 minutes till the end of the hour here. So 30 minutes time, so about 6:40 my time. I don't know what that'd be Australian time. I think 7:20 their time in the morning. I'm not mistaken.
Question: what can Borroloola expect from Trevor? It's on the western side, which I think everyone here would agree is the weaker side. Someone said earlier that the forecast only had 37-mile-an-hour winds for Borroloola. Isaac, would you... Surely you wouldn't agree with that, would you? Borroloola's just on the left-hand side of your radar image there.
Oh yeah, right here. 30-mile-an-hour winds.
37 miles an hour on the
37.
forecast, apparently. It's moving southwest. It's going to get a lot worse than that.
Yeah, it's just look. They're gonna get hit by the outer eyewall by the looks of it here. So it's 37 miles an hour. I mean, if it weakens that fast, sure, but
No, not a
I don't
chance.
think so.
Not with its,
I don't think
not
so.
with its speed of movement. Maybe if it was stalling, but well, even that. You know, we've seen stalling storms along the coast here not very long ago, Owen, that have strengthened.
And there you go, and with the blue marker and marked Barhola there.
They just don't weaken that quickly round there.
To go back to the other radar for Veronica here. Eyewall getting closer. Outer band starting to be felt by the looks of it. Just west of Port Hedland by the looks of it on radar. Central Island looks like they're starting. They might be getting the outer eyewall here, at least on the eastern side of the island. That is. So somebody was saying it's the inner eyewall, Trevor's inner eyewall trying to come back here. I don't know exactly, but on the latest frames, it looks like it has. But it could be, like I said, due to the distance it is away from radar, because there's not that many good radars around this general area, and this is the closest one to Trevor, rather. So it could be just radar interference, or it could be just the inner eyewall still there, just not able to be shown that well enough on radar because of its distance here. So hopefully that answers your question there.
Yeah, I think so. Let's just get another look here at the latest imagery. This is what Trevor is looking like on the latest frames. It's approaching landfall. Looks like it's going to happen in an hour. We're probably going to produce another update on Trevor in an hour's time. And then we'll probably do another update on Veronica shortly after that here on Force 13. Those are going to be recorded updates because we're going off the air shortly after our 3-hour stint here. You'll be able to catch up on at least 2 of those 3 hours, which have been recorded here, when they get published shortly after the fact. But really there's not too much else to say right now. I guess we'll reread the warnings that are currently in effect. So we've got a cyclone warning which extends from Aliangula to Burketown for Trevor, of course. That includes all points in between Numbulwar, Port Roper, Port MacArthur, the Northern Territory Queensland border, and Mornington Island. And it covers places further inland as far as Brunette Downs and Cape Crawford. Not quite as far as Tennant Creek, but it's awfully close. And for Cyclone Veronica, warnings in effect from Wallal Downs in the east to Mardi in the west. Let's just get these up on the graphics again here, because this is probably the most important takeaway point. So, first of all, there is the track for Trevor with the warning zone, and this here is Veronica. Warning zone includes Marble Bar. If you missed that earlier, it does now include Marble Bar. And the watch zone extending further inland to Nullagine, or Nullagine, I'm not sure which way that one is. And Port Hedland and Carratha, of course, well within that warning zone, and it would appear to me increasingly that one of them is going to, as David would put it, cop it. David, are you here right now? We just wanted to see if we could get a final word, but I don't think we do. Isaac, Ryan, any final points before we finish up here?
Well,
I
stay
am here,
safe.
but I've got the grandson watching cartoons, so apology for the background noise. But Nathan, looking at some of the observations for Trevor.
I mean, we really need to get an undercover crew coming around to David's house one day and film him doing his grandparenting.
Yeah, I've got the grandson
David
on
Uncut.
my knees. He's watching cartoons.
There we go. Go on, you were saying.
Observations, 1,000 millibars at Mornington Island. I've posted a couple of the links in the room here. And landfall, I think the eye's now impacting the
Yes.
northwest coastal region. And you mentioned about the miles. I worked out about 60 miles. And
16 miles?
Well, I did say about 60, but you
60.
mentioned 16. Yep.
For Trevor?
But now...
About 20 miles now.
Yep.
So there we go. David, any other thoughts, any other words of advice that you'd like to give to people over there? Because, of course, you know Australia much better than we do.
Well, going by the warnings in the Northern Territory, road travel is going to, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Avoid travelling. And for Veronica, the same. About 30,000 people. But we'll be here tomorrow, won't we, Nathan, covering this one?
Yes,
Veronica.
we're going to have regular updates. The main channel will have updates on these two storms as they approach land. I assume, David, you'll be doing updates on Force 13 AU.
Yes, well, my grandson departs here in about half an hour.
You can't wait.
Fully operational. And I will be producing updates for the main channel and also the AU channel. And keeping an eye on severe thunderstorm possibility for... quite a bit of the Australian continent.
Yeah, of course. So if you've not followed the Australian channel yet, you can do that also. Force 13 AU, look it up. Thank you very much to Isaac and Ryan for also joining us, as well as David, for this big event. And we'll have more coverage during the night tonight, my time at least, during the day in Australia and beyond. Whatever we need to do to keep you up to date. That's all from here at Force 13 HQ and from the team. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Take care.